Good morning, Colorado Springs. Okay, 2 of you are awake this morning. Good morning, Colorado Springs. All right, that's better. That's better. Welcome to September the 48th annual Labor Day liftoff here in Colorado Springs. We are so glad to see all of you out here. We're in for a fabulous day of balloon flying this morning. Another balloon glow scheduled tonight. Drone show, if you missed it, took place at 5:45. You got to get here early. We'll do it again later tonight and again tomorrow morning. But we want to get things officially kicked off on this morning with our national anthem performed for us this morning by Autumn Schindler.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Autumn. And I'd like to bring up to the stage and give us a little welcome this morning, your El Paso County Commissioner, Stan Vanderwerf.
Good morning, Colorado Springs and El Paso County. How are you all doing this morning? Let's hear it. Yeah. Oh, wow, that wasn't that good. Let's do that one more time. Let's hear it, everybody. Yeah, there we are. Outstanding.
They're just not awake yet, Commissioner.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know, the cold air is making it a little bit chilly and people are still a little frozen. So
I guess so.
We got to warm them up just a bit, but we are on our way to doing that, and it's going to be a great day today. As you all know, my name is Stan Vanderwerf. I'm one of your El Paso County Commissioners. And on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, we are excited to welcome you to the annual Labor Day liftoff. First, I just want you all to know that we are deeply saddened to hear of the passing of Scott Appleman, one of the top organizers of the liftoff. It's bittersweet today to celebrate without him, but he has made a lasting impact on this annual event for years to come. Thank you, Scott, for all your years of dedication and hard work, bringing joy to our community through this magical event. Now, I love this event, and I'm a pilot, and I'm an airplane owner, and I just love aviation, and ballooning is one of those forms of aviation, and it is just so cool to see this. And there is nothing better than seeing our beautiful Colorado scenery from up so high, and I'm glad to see so many members of our community coming together this morning to make great memories, whether you're in the air or on the ground. And I'm thrilled that everyone that is going to fly today, I'm sure they will enjoy it. Now, in fact, we even have a wheelchair accessible balloon, so the only thing stopping you is the fear of heights. Ladies and gentlemen, El Paso County is proud to be a sponsor of the liftoff, and I'd like to thank Hot Apple Productions, the Rainbow Riders Hot Air Balloon Company, and the Colorado Springs Sports Corporation for organizing this year's event. They do such a great job. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this wonderful day, and enjoy the view. Yeah!
Thanks, Commissioner. Yeah, there's nothing like being above the ground looking down. I think it was Da Vinci that said once you've tasted flight, or there's a saying, once you've tasted flight, you never look back to the ground. It's always looking up. So it's a great thing to be doing. Hey, we do this, as the commissioner mentioned, Hot Apple Productions and Colorado Sports Corp. They're the main organizers of Labor Day Liftoff. But we couldn't do this without some great partners and some great sponsors that help us all the time, all year round. They put the dollars in. They make things happen. They bring people to us. And we'd like to recognize the Navy Federal Credit Union today. It's Navy Federal Credit Union Day here. And from the Navy Federal Credit Union, that's in there a lot, right? Here's Jennifer Herzberg. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning. Good morning. It is our pleasure to welcome you to this Sunday morning liftoff, and we are so excited to be the sponsor of today's events. At Navy Federal Credit Union, we are a not-for-profit financial institution. We serve military, veterans, and their family. And at Navy Federal, our members are the mission. And I'd like to invite you today to visit our activation. We are straight back right over by the VIP tents. If you are a member, we want to thank you for your membership. And if you are not a Navy Federal member yet, we would love the opportunity to share some information about our great credit union and to welcome you to the Navy Federal family. So please stop by. We would love to say hi. You guys have a great morning.
Thanks, Jennifer. And another part of getting the word out, we have the sponsors, we do advertising, we do all those other kinds of things, but you know, it's still the media that helps get the word out. And KKTV News 11 has always been a great help in making that happen. And so they're here this morning as well. Here it is. Let me make sure it's Erica.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Oh, how cool is this? Look at this crowd. And isn't the weather just perfect?
That's right.
Our meteorologist really worked on this for us, making sure the wind was not going to be too strong. And I mean, we're already getting a glow this morning. Looking at the mountains, seeing all of the color on it. I mean, this is just a perfect start to Labor Day Liftoff. But my name is Erica Ferrando. I am the morning anchor at KKTV. And of course, we've been talking about this for weeks now. So excited about it. And this is my first time here. So this is super exciting for me just to see the balloons already on the ground, getting laid out. Those baskets, I mean, they put people in them apparently, but they're kind of small. But
you ain't seen nothing
yet,
Erica.
I'm so excited to see it. This is just such a cool event, and at KKTV, we are so proud to be sponsors of this. We have a tent right in the back on the east side, so come check us out. We have some of our staff members back there. Tony Keith, our 11 News at 9 anchor, is back there, and we have some balloons for the kids. We also have some tattoos. So if you want to get a tattoo and get wild at Labor Day Liftoff, go on back to our tent. But we are just so proud to be here, and thank you all for being part of this as well. Those balloons getting ready to take off in just about 15 minutes.
Yeah, maybe 18.
All right, 18.
That's all right.
More than 80, about 80 balloons though, so it's going to be quite a sight. So thank you all so much for being here, and we're so excited to be part of this.
Thanks, Erica. Thanks to News 11 for being here. You bet. What a great morning. As Erica said, this is going to be a great morning here. We're looking at great. I was at pilot's briefing just a few minutes ago before I came over here, and the weather report is things are looking good this morning. So we are all on schedule, and we'll be setting up our first air balloons, and I'll explain that in a minute. They should be putting some cold air into the balloons right at 7 o'clock. We're going to see a bunch of our Rainbow Riders balloons taking off from the ball fields behind us, and they'll be getting off about 7 o'clock as well. So we've got just a few minutes before things get started here, which gives me an opportunity to tell you kind of what's going to happen here and how it all works, and the help we're going to need from you to make all of this happen this morning. By the way, my name's Art Lloyd Jr., and I'm happy to be here for somewhere around the 8th or 9th year. If you recognize my name or my voice, maybe because I'm also the announcer in Albuquerque. I do Balloon Fiesta live there. Oh, and I would be remiss if I didn't you guys weren't blowing your whistles. Where's the whistles? Come on, get the whistles out. There you go. So when you hear those whistles throughout the morning, they're coming from these folks right here in the black and white shirts. The referees, the zebras, the launch directors. Our balloons will not be able to launch this morning without a thumbs up from one of them. Because you know, when you're in the basket and you're looking up, all you see is your fabric. You can't see what's above you. So the launch directors are going to be a little bit away from the balloon. They're going to be looking up. Make sure that when the balloon launches that it's clear above, that they're not going to run into somebody else. So they're out here doing a great job for that. If they ask you to move a little bit one way or the other, please do so. Please cooperate with them. Listen for the whistles, because when you hear that, that's when you need to pay attention to what's going on. So the process here is our balloon pilots and crew are back on the field, and you're starting to see burners fire off on the field here as well. You get the burner, the basket out of the truck or trailer, you hook the burners up to the propane tanks, and you test them. Make sure there's no propane leaks going on, that you have the right amount of pressure on those burners. Too much pressure, the flame gets too big. Too little pressure, and you don't get enough heat generated to fly the balloon effectively. So they're making those checks. Then they'll lay the basket over, take the envelope out, stretch the envelope out, and then they'll turn on an inflator fan and blow cold air into the balloon. Once the balloon is full of cold air, they'll light the burners again, heating the air. And if we remember from 7th grade science, when you heat air, it becomes less dense and therefore rises above the more heavy dense air, and the balloon will start to rise. Enough heat, it stands up, even more heat, and off it flies. So what that means for you, as they are laying out the baskets and stretching out those envelopes, they're going to be attaching the different lines and tie-off ropes and all of those types of things. And so please watch out for those as you're wandering around the field. Watch out for that. Step and walk around it. Don't ever step over it. Walk around it. And the same thing goes when they stretch the envelope out. Don't walk on it. Don't even attempt to step over it. Go all the way around one side or the other. It's just a few extra steps. If you were to fall or step on it or trip over it, not only could you get hurt, but you might damage the balloon, and then we don't fly today or tonight or tomorrow, because it'll be next week before we can get it into the repair shop. So please, watch where you're walking out there. Step around things, not over them. You know, this is one of a very few places in the world that allows spectators on the field while flight operations are happening. I know you've all been to an air show probably somewhere sometime, maybe the Pikes Peak one that was here just a couple of weeks ago, but the FAA does not allow spectators on an active flight line. A balloon rally, a balloon launch field like this would be considered an air show and therefore an active flight line. However, in Albuquerque and here in Colorado Springs, the only two places, well, there's a couple others, there are only few places where the FAA allows us to let spectators get out in and among the balloons. A number of balloon rallies around the country, you're outside a fence watching from the outside. So enjoy the ability to get close up and personal with our balloons, but do take a few minutes to be careful about stepping on or over our balloons. By the same token, there is no smoking out there on the field anywhere, whether it be because we have all the propane, or because if you put that cigarette down and we lay our envelope over it, we get not one, but 7 or 8 holes because of the layers when we stretch it out. So no smoking. And finally, please, if you brought your pet with you, I can't tell you to go put him back in the car. That's not much better. But please stay around the edges of the field and keep your pets obviously on a leash, but keep them away from our balloons as well. Sometimes the burner noise just spooks the puppies, and they just don't like it. They get loose, they get agitated, don't want anybody hurt on any of those types of things. Those are the housekeeping things that I need to get across to you. And the good thing is, because you can wander around and talk to different pilots, etc., The Labor Day Liftoff group has given each pilot a box full of balloon trading cards. In fact, they even gave me my own announcer cards this year. So you'll want to go ahead and start wandering around, go to the different balloons, and see if they still have cards left. We had a great glow last night, and I heard a couple of special shape folks ran out of cards already. But go ahead and start collecting those trading cards while you're out here moving along. You coming for yours? There you go, see? Oh yeah, he was gonna be first in line. Yeah, that's all right. He's being the gentleman there. Thank you very much. All right, enjoy the cards. Oh, there is one more housekeeping thing, and that's lost and found. People always seem to lose things coming out here, anywhere on a big field, and other people find it, which is really cool. So the deal is, lost and found is on the other side of the field from the stage. Colorado Springs Fire Department is set up and is handling lost and found for us. And so if you head out, if you find something or lose something, head to the other side of the field. Look for the Colorado Springs Fire Department. They're the ones that are handling lost and found. Turn things in that you find, and if you lose something, that might be the place to retrieve it. All right, good morning. You're welcome. You're welcome. There you go. You're welcome. There you go. So as you've heard this morning, we have about 80 balloons here this morning. And the field is not quite big enough to launch all 80 at the same time. So we've split our balloons into two waves. We call them colors. There's an orange wave and a red wave, but that which doesn't matter to you. But basically, we're going to launch about half the balloons into a competition, and then when we get those guys off the field, we'll do the next wave, and so we'll do it again. So when things look like they're starting to die out at first here, don't run away, because we're going to do it all again. It's kind of like a double ascension type of thing here. And the game plan is that we're actually doing competition today as well. So we're going to set up one balloon. In fact, it's going to be the Navy Federal Credit Union balloon for our first wave. They're going to set them up right over here. Once that balloon stands up, that will be the signal for everyone else in the first wave to be able to go cold, which means they can turn on their inflator fans. Then after the Navy Federal Credit Union balloon gets in the air, then everyone else in that wave can actually stand their balloon up. The Navy Federal Credit balloon is going to take off, going to fly away, fly for 20, 30 minutes, something like that, find a nice landing spot, and lay out an X. The pilots in the balloons in the second part of that, the ones that are going to be the hares here, or the hounds, they're going to fly and attempt to get to that same spot and drop a marker on that spot. Whoever gets the closest wins. I found out this morning, first prize on those is $150 for that pilot. Then we're going to go ahead and do that whole thing a second time with another hare balloon and a whole bunch of hound balloons. So it's a hare and hound competition this morning, two different waves, and we should be getting that underway in about 6 minutes. If you have any questions about ballooning, feel free to ask any of our balloon pilots or crews, or if you're near the stage, you want to come by here, I'll be happy to answer those questions as well. In fact, if you ask me the question, I'll answer it for everybody. You're welcome. Time to get the sunglasses out as the sun has popped up. After our big balloons fly this morning, we get all of them off on their competition. Then our remote control balloons are scheduled to inflate. They'll be up along the berm over towards Prospect Lake. We have 15 of those remote control balloons. They're about 1/4 size of our big ones. Made out of the same fabric. They've got mini burners and mini baskets. We keep them tied to the ground, although we let them go up about 50 feet or so, because there's no one in the basket, so that makes it a little harder to chase those if you let them loose. But that'll be about 8:30. We'll be setting that up. Of course, the Orange Theory 5K run is happening today. That'll be at 9 o'clock. The other thing that happens at 9 o'clock this morning is that we'll have the Wings of Blue skydiving team. The Wings of Blue skydiving team jumping in about 9 o'clock. So about that 8:30 time, once we get all the balloons off the field, we'll be opening a space in the center of the field, creating a landing zone for those jumpers. Yes. So the question is, how high can a hot air balloon go? Legally, it can go all the way up to 18,000 feet sea level, I mean sea level, so above sea level, which would be about 13,000 feet higher than we are here. What happens at that level is that the Federal Aviation Administration controls all the aircraft above there, and you have to have instruments and be able to control your aircraft. So legally, we can go up to 18,000 feet. We typically go up about 1,000 feet or so off the ground. Maybe 4,000, 5,000. Here's another thing. You know, you hear about people, they come and train in Colorado Springs because it's a mile high or thereabouts, right? And because the air is thinner here, your body gets better and stronger, so when you go compete at sea level, you're stronger. Well, as we continue to go up, you get up to 10,000 feet at sea level. Now the air is even thinner yet. So the Federal Aviation Department requires that any aircraft that's not pressurized, which an open basket would not be, we have to be on oxygen after we start reaching the 12,500 foot level. So we typically never go up there. We don't want to carry oxygen. We don't want to do that stuff. And frankly, after you're 1,000 feet off the ground doesn't look any farther away. It's pretty amazing. You have to get a lot higher above 1,000 before things start happening. But that's a great question. Typically we fly a couple thousand feet off the ground, although when we're doing a rally, a lot of times it's just 500 or 600 feet. Need one of those? There you go. But we typically legally can go up to 18,000 feet. You have a question too? So when they hit the burner, so it's putting out probably 12 million BTUs. That's probably not something you've learned about yet, but other people might know. But it's enough heat to heat your house for a little bit of time. And so what it's doing is it's heating up all that air. And most of our balloons are about 90,000 cubic feet. That's like 90,000 basketballs. Think about that, 90,000 basketballs. That's how many would fit in the side of one of these balloons. When they put that heat out there, it raises the temperature inside the balloon, and that's what makes it lift off. In fact, the temperature at the top of that balloon is an easy 100 degrees hotter than it is outside. So if it's 60 degrees, like right here where we're standing, when they stand the balloon up, it's going to be probably 160 degrees at the top of that balloon. And when they put heat in, it's going to get warmer so that they have enough lift to get off the ground. So it's pretty hot. It's pretty hot. Great question. Yeah, one more? Sure. You're welcome. How many people can fit in the basket? That's a really good question too. I just told you that a typical balloon is 90,000 cubic feet or 90,000 basketballs, right? There are balloons that are smaller, there are balloons that are bigger. Bigger balloons can carry more weight. Smaller balloons carry less weight. So the bigger the balloon, the more people I can put in the basket. When we see the Rainbow Rider balloons go over the lake over here, they'll probably go over the lake. We'll see them take off from the ball fields behind us here. You'll see that those balloons are much bigger. They're more like 200,000 cubic feet. So think 200,000 basketballs. And they're gonna be big baskets, and there's gonna be lots of people in them. And then when you look at the baby bee here, he doesn't even have a basket. When he launches, he's not set up yet. When he sets up, he doesn't even have a basket. He's got a chair there that seats 2 people. Him and a passenger. So it gets that small as well. So it really ranges about how many people we can take. Size of the balloon also has a lot of other factors in it, but the big one is the size of the balloon.
So the ones that we're seeing set up right now that have that sort of standard square.
Yeah, most of the time you're gonna see a pilot and 1 or 2 people. Yeah, the 90,000 can easily carry 2 people with a pilot.
Thank you. How long can they fly for?
How long can they fly for? So most of our balloons are carrying 30 to 40 gallons of propane. Kind of a rule of thumb is somewhere on the order of about 15 gallons of propane an hour. So that gives me about 2 hours if I were to go through all of my fuel. But like everything else in aviation, I want to make sure that I land with a reserve. So the flights will be probably no longer than an hour and a half. Yesterday I heard they were all averaging right about an hour. All right, so I see some air going into the Navy Federal Credit Union balloon. He is over on B2. Row 1 is right here against the stage. Row 5 is on the other side. A is off to the kind of north. So actually it's popping up now. It's the green balloon, and you see the Navy Federal Credit Union banner on the side. So this will be the hair balloon for our first wave. Steve Mitchell's piloting the Navy Federal Credit balloon for us this morning. I was talking about the average size being 90,000 cubic feet. Steve's balloon is a 90,000 cubic foot balloon. So again, the inflator fan is running, just blowing cold or the ambient temperature air into the balloon, and they'll cold pack it. They'll get it as full of cold air as they can. And then turn the burners on and heat that air. Usually you put 2 crew members down on the throat that's down by the basket, and they're just holding the bottom end open so that the fan can blow that air into it. There is somebody standing by the fan who can turn it off, adjust it, move it, whatever needs to happen. There is a person out on the crown line. That is the rope that is attached to the top center of the balloon, and it's only used when we're on the ground. So when we're inflating, someone's on the crown line. When we're deflating, someone will grab that crown line. It's just a stabilization line that's used by a crew member in the inflation and deflation process. Then if you have more crew members than that, they'll help just kind of stretch the envelope out. Sometimes the fan is strong enough that it will be able to lift the fabric and unfurl all those wrinkles from the stretched out being in the bag. Sometimes the crew will kind of pull the fabric out a little bit, fluff it up a little bit. Fan doesn't have to work quite as hard. You're also checking to make sure that your lines are not twisted, that everything's ready to go for flight. So it is 7 o'clock. That also means that our Mimosa and Beer Garden is open this morning. That is just to my right, left of the stage. Good morning.
Took them here, but it's okay. I don't need it. I'm not taking it down.
Looking for bags here. Yeah.
So no, I'll check over there if you know what is in there.
Yeah.
It's alright.
Yeah. I don't know what. We used
Okay.
to have a trailer here that people go on the roof, and they used to come over here and watch from the roof there.
That's all good.
But no, I haven't
Do
seen
you have his number?
Yeah, I do. 505 948 0944. All right, man. Thanks. You bet.
Morning.
Do I have cards? Yes. Would you like one? Okay. You too? All right. You're welcome. Have a good time.
All right, Steve's got the burners going. So the balloon is cold packed. Now with the burners, he's able to put some heat in there, heat that air up, and those 90,000 cubic feet of air will get less dense, and the balloon will stand up for us and for him. And there we are. Now that Steve has got the Navy Federal Credit balloon standing up, first wave pilots, you're good to go cold. First wave pilots, you're good to go cold. So you're gonna hear, there they are, there's the inflator fan starting up. You're gonna see all these bubbles of colors start coming up on the field now as we start to inflate those balloons. So at this point, what Steve Mitchell's doing in the Navy Federal Credit Union balloon, getting his passengers loaded, setting the top, making sure that the vent line all works well, double check of all the systems, make sure the radios are on and working. Once he's ready, he'll get a launch director, we'll hear the whistles. If you're around the balloon, you may see the thumbs up. And Steve will be airborne shortly. Yeah! Yeah! What a great crowd we have out here today. Thank you all for coming out. Thanks for having us here in Colorado Springs for the 48th year for Labor Day liftoff. I always love coming up here, being part of the activities. I know that our balloon pilots and crews also enjoy coming up here. Of course, as you can see, the balloon activity is getting underway. When there's a gap or when you've seen enough balloons for the moment, remember that there are a number of great vendors and concessions all along the edge of the field with balloon souvenirs, food, knives. Man, if you're thinking about it, it's probably out here. And all the way across the field from the main stage, a number of our sponsors have set up activities for you to do. You heard about the Navy Federal Credit Union one. News 11 is out there. Yesterday we were talking about Xfinity, but they're out there again today. So a bunch of our sponsors have some additional information and opportunities and usually free stuff for you. The burner's going pretty good blast over there in the Navy Federal Credit Union balloon, so I suspect he's about to go. In fact, there he's starting to move. Good morning.
Are they always N registered? If they're registered in the United States, yeah. N is the designation for United States. Other countries have a different annual or 100 hours, whatever comes first. Yeah, they're federally certified aircraft. If it's experimental, you still call them annuals. Yeah. No, that's fine. We still call them that. Yeah.
And there he goes. Steve Mitchell taking the Navy Federal Credit Union balloons skyward as we get started on this Sunday morning at Labor Day liftoff. Now that he is in the air, all of those that are cold inflating, when they're ready, can actually go hot inflating. There's two things hanging down from the basket of that Navy Federal Credit Union balloon. One is a yellow ribbon. That is in memory and tribute in honor of Scott Appleman. Scott, founder of Rainbow Riders, founder of Hot Apple Productions, the main driver behind Labor Day liftoff for the last 9 years. The other is the target. I told you that Steve's gonna fly for 20 or 30 minutes and put down, they'll lay out that target. So these hound balloons, the ones inflating right now, are gonna watch kind of where he goes, and if that target is still hanging down, then he hasn't put it down yet. But once that's missing, then they know to start looking for the target. Now, while Steve is headed off towards the lake, we have the first of our Rainbow Riders balloons. These are balloons that are providing paid rides, and the first one up over there, operated by Rainbow Riders, is the Visit Albuquerque balloon. We're looking at the red side, but if that were to rotate, the other side is green. In fact, there's the turning vent. You might take a look and see how much bigger that balloon is and how much bigger that basket is. Can we actually steer a balloon? No. We have no stick, we have no rudder, we have no steering wheel. What we have is the ability to go up and down, and winds go different directions and different speeds at different altitudes. So we steer by changing our altitude. That's how that works. There was a question about the N numbers. You see on the side of all these balloons, there is an usually in N and some series of numbers. Because these are federally licensed aircraft, they have to have a license plate, so they have an N number. So I'm looking at Xfinity here, and it's N8000, can't read the last letter, just like an aircraft would. However, if I remember right, Chicky Boom, which is one of our special shapes over there, well, we'll have to look it up. Check for the N numbers. If it starts with a different letter, it's registered in a different country. More of our Rainbow Riders balloons are getting airborne now. I mentioned the Visit Albuquerque one. The next one coming across is that more red one with the white design on the side. That one's actually called Cattywampus, and the commissioner earlier mentioned a wheelchair accessible basket. That's the balloon that's flying it. So that red one with the white design on it, Cattywampus, Mike Heffron flies that balloon. That has got a basket that actually has a door in it so that you can wheel in your wheelchair, and the side is plexiglass so that you can still see over the top of it. In fact, you can kind of see the plexiglass side is towards us. And the rest of the Rainbow Riders fleet is getting airborne as well. One of them carrying the Glazer Energy banner, the providers of propane for our balloons this weekend. There's the News 11 banner. Rainbow Riders, the largest hot air balloon ride company in the world, at least in the US. Operations here in Colorado Springs, Albuquerque, Phoenix area, and just this past spring, they opened up a season in Park City, Utah. So in the Four Corners states, Rainbow Riders, taking a whole lot of people every day up to get an item on their bucket list checked off.
This group is, they're over there because they're and they told me here's the game plan. So, but yeah, they're all talking on their own radio. Good, thanks. Did you get a card? Yeah, I got one. Here, can you put these? They'll put them in the truck or trailer and take them to the hotel with them. Okay. Yeah. I did not feel like lunch trailers. No, they keep it with them. Yeah, because when after they fly, they go fuel. So, you know, and then they'll head back to the hotel. Where are they full of fuel? At a propane place. Happens to be Glazer propane here. Oh, so they just go in there and go fuel them? Yep. Yeah, you pull the basket part way out, you know, and then just hook the hose up. Okay. Just as if you had taken your barbecue to a propane barbecue tank to there, and they take the tank, they take the tank and fill it. We take the hose to the basket. That's what we do. Yeah.
All right, so we're already getting some balloons airborne. Over there, the downwind side is actually going to be more towards the lake and the VIP area. So I see Clayton Crouch in his balloon going off. That's the one that has the black checkerboards on it. We kind of see red and yellow from our side, but if you were on the other side of that, you would see blue and green. I see Sean Spiker has his gut-wrenching balloon. That's the kind of blue, teal, green ones with the Zia made out of wrenches and a skull in the center of that Zia. That's Sean Spiker. There goes Serenity. That's the kind of purple maroon one with the multicolor spikes going up. Serenity's flown by Chris Jones. Boy, everybody's ready to fly this morning. We're gonna get up and get out of here, it looks like. Everybody's ready to go. I hear whistles, I hear cheers going off the other side of the field. With the pink and purple and turquoise, that's Jeremy King and Let It Glow. I hear more whistles. There goes the Xfinity Rewards balloon. Xfinity flown by Michael Stinson. And right in front of him, the Diversus Health balloon. That's Marauder's Mark being flown by Dave Eichhorn. There's a good example of balloons going different directions at very near the same altitude. Hard to see above you, so the Xfinity balloon technically has the right of way there. Dave Eichhorn has to get his yellow balloon up and out of the way, but now they're both going the same speed in the same directions. No worries. Yep, there is no steering. We control the up and down, and the altitude and the wind direction controls where we're headed. That all white balloon farther out. Interesting story behind that. They built the all white balloon so that they could put different banners on it. So it's carried numerous different company names on the side of it. This Labor Day liftoff, it's flying for the Banning Lewis Ranch. I see Neil Smith has gotten indecisive off. He was on the far corner up there by VIP. He didn't go high at all. He kind of just went up over the tree right there, and he's now down in trying to do a little splash and dash in Prospect Lake. The idea behind the splash and dash is you take your basket, you take your balloon right down so that the bottom of the basket just skims the water. You don't want to go in deep enough to get your feet wet, but you do want to get the very bottom. There's kind of like skid runners on the bottom of the baskets. And so you want to like get that wet. And if you do that right, it's great bragging points. I do understand that a couple people went a little deeper than they should have yesterday and got a little wet. So it's just kind of a little embarrassing, and you're wet for a little while, but not a big deal. Good bragging rights if you can do that. Across the other side of VIP, that looks like Alan Hahn in the dark color balloon with the white and rainbow colors going all around.